Hello, Synthtopia. My name is Ilya, and this is the Gamechanger audio booth at Superbooth. And this is our first Superbooth because we used to be a guitar pedal company. Well, at least we had only guitar sort of pedal format products last year. So we've been doing the NAMM shows mostly. But this year we're kind of breaking out of our own little box. So we are now a guitar and synth company. So this is our new release for 2019. It's called the Motor Synth. And we are extremely proud of it. We love it. It's absolutely amazing. And Superbooth, this is the second day of Superbooth, so we've only announced it to the public yesterday. And yeah, it looks like people really love it. So the Motor Synth is it is a 4-voice polyphonic electromechanical synthesizer that generates sounds by harvesting the energy produced by motors. So these motors here, they're spinning, and kind of I can control the pitch at which they spin, either by using these rollers here, by using these buttons here, or I can connect it to any other kind of MIDI controller or controller, or you can use it as the kind of sound source, and it takes CV inputs as well. So so basically, yes, this instrument challenges the kind of the assumption that what is an oscillator. So in traditional analog synthesizers, the oscillator is kind of this. It's a little part. It's a crystal that vibrates at a certain frequency depending on how much current you feed into it. So our logic was this: hey, electromotor is kind of the same. It is a thing, an object that vibrates. In this case, spins at a certain frequency depending on how much current you put into it. So kind of we're taking advantage a little bit of the recent drone technology and drone culture. So thanks to those flying annoying cameras, they've developed these really good microcontrollers that can change the RPM, rotations per minute, of electromotors in really precise, super sharp and quick ways. So thanks to those microcontrollers, we can assemble this musical instrument and apply motors in a new context. So So the most interesting thing about visually is these optical discs. So these are aluminum discs with different patterns printed on them. This is not just for trippy graphics. This is actually a visual representation of certain wave shapes. So the one in the center, that is how a square wave looks on a circular disc. So we have these infrared diodes that we bounce off of the aluminum discs, off of the surface, and we read the reflection. And as these motors rotate, so the dark parts, when the beam of infrared light passes over the dark part, we don't get any reflection. And when it passes over the transparent, shiny parts, we get a reflection. So that's how a signal is formed. No signal on off like this as it rotates. So, and that's how you get an optical square wave. And similarly here, in the middle we have a sawtooth wave. It goes like this, ramps up and jumps down. And the one on the outside rim is a sine wave. So let me show you how those things sound. So here, I've got the square wave, saw, and sine. I can switch the octaves of it. Every time I switch the octave, the motor begins to rotate twice as fast. So here's one really cool advantage of the motors is that I don't want to generalize, but like the analog oscillators, like the old school analog oscillators, they're not as stable at low frequencies. But for example, like a motor, it doesn't take, like it's even easier for a motor to spin slowly. So yeah, we can get incredible amounts of low frequencies from these. But I guess that's not the main point. The main point is just the fun element of it and how cool, how interesting it is. So let me demonstrate. Like, so that was mono mode. This is unison mode. So all these motors are gonna spin in one frequency together, and I can just ram them up like this. This is really good for imitating race car sounds. Also, I can put, let me put just a scale on it. So let's use some kind of scale, whatever. Let's introduce the second oscillator. So this is a square wave. Yeah, both are set on square wave. Let's do. One way of playing with the instrument. Also, I can adjust. Like, remember I was rolling these knobs before, so I can adjust like the sensitivity. So now it's infinite increments. So it just goes like just in random, and I can set it to move in like half tone increments. Now arpeggiate between these two notes. Latch. So I can control the speed with the tap tempo. And also I can set up individual envelopes. There's a lot more to it. So there's a whole modulation block. The filter is really interesting. It's an analog filter with 4 setups: 24 low pass, 12 and 6 band pass, and 12 high pass. We can do cross modulation between the voices. There's a sequencing mode, a looping mode, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of like a loop station approach. And yeah, I can, I don't know, this instrument really is kind of a rabbit hole in the sense that you can literally lose hours in it like straight away. One last thing I want to show, I guess, is how cool it sounds with plasma pedal. This one goes live on this on the Indiegogo platform on May 28th. We've already successfully crowdfunded Plasma Pedal on Indiegogo, and also we crowdfunded our first product, the Plus Pedal. So yeah, so we have a track record of delivering on time. We really the thing goes live at May 28th. And we really hope that, so the price announcements and all the details will be announced like soon after Superbooth.